What is up, AAC family? My name is Aaron. I am going to be your brand new resident Marvel, DC, all kinds of comic book, movie, nerdy stuff guy here on the Animated Apparel channel. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to AAC for having me on their channel. But today I want to talk about something that has been blowing up the internet for the past few months, and that is Spider-Man 3. All the rumors, we're going to talk about the castings, possible story stuff. Here we go. Alright, so there have been new developments about Spider-Man 3 coming out all the time. First we found out that Doctor Strange, Benedict Cumberbatch, is going to be in it, which opened up a whole world of possibilities into what can be happening. There's been rumors flying left and right, but some of the biggest rumors are a lot of confirmed things that are coming out now, and possibly a first look upcoming this December. But let's go ahead and break down the casting information first. Now, one of the biggest breaking things that happened recently was it was confirmed that Alfred Molina, the original Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, is going to be returning as the titular character for Spider-Man 3. Also, we're going to be getting Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, coming back. Now, he was the villain in Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, starring Andrew Garfield. Now we're going to have all of these different mixes coming in, which leaves you to question, what about the other Spider-Man if you're bringing in from Tobey's universe, if you're bringing in from Andrew's universe? Well, it's been rumored for quite some time, and there was even a video that got released before CCXP talking about this, and then was pretty quickly deleted, talking about bringing the three Spider-Men together. So it has been rumored for quite some time that not only Tobey Maguire, not only Andrew Garfield, but possibly also Kristen Dunst and Emma Stone are all coming back into Spider-Man 3. Now this is going to be a star-studded cast. But wait, there's more, because not only did we find out that, but Disney also required the rights back to Daredevil. And it's been rumored that Charlie Cox, who played Daredevil on the namesake show from Netflix, may be coming into the movie as well. So there's going to be a lot of characters jam-packed into this. Some confirmed, some still rumored. But for the most part, a lot of these rumors that have been coming out have also been confirmed later, such as the Alfred Molina casting, and I believe Jamie Foxx as well. So that leads into the big question. With all these characters, how are we going to mishmash them all into one movie? Is this movie just going to be really long? Possibly. It's almost Endgame level at this point, where they're just adding character after character, big name after big name, not only from the MCU, but also beyond that in the original Sony ones. People love Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. A lot consider that to be the Spider-Man. A lot are considering to be Andrew Garfield as their favorite Spider-Man. Some is Tom Holland, which is the current run. So there's all of these different things that are coming together. And a big rumor is that they may be doing something a la Spider-Verse, which was probably one of the best animated movies of all time, centered around Spider-Man. It's also been rumored that Miles Morales could be cast somewhere in here, but there's no real confirmation of that yet. Now, likely they can go down the route where we're talking that Spider-Man will be getting his own multiverse or his own Spider-Verse on the big screen that we've seen in live action. Very possible, especially considering Doctor Strange's connection to this. But how does it all fit into the story? Well, to be quite honest, I don't think that they're going to be doing a Spider-Verse directly from the animated version. I think that's going to be a little bit too much, considering the wide cast of characters that they could pull off for the animated version. I don't quite think they would go that direction for the live action. There was a rumor that Tobey Maguire could potentially come back into this new Spider-Man and play Uncle Ben, which I think would probably be one of the best ideas. But I don't think that's what's going to happen based on some of the rumors that are swirling around. Now, for the story of the live action version, in order to get all these Spider-Men working together, I think they're going to have to do a couple of different things story-wise to make it all work and come together cohesively. The best way that I think Marvel can handle this is by doing a couple of different things. One, I think we may have to bring Mysterio back into the fold, if not permanently, possibly in some capacity, whether it be what he set up from the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, or have him involved in some kind of capacity moving forward in which he, spoiler alert, did not die. Then you're probably asking yourself, how are we going to get these multi-dimensional, how are these other Spider-Man and Spider-Man villains existing within the MCU? I have an answer for that. Now, in my mind, the best way for these other Spider-Man and Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane Watson to show up into the MCU Spider-Man Spider-Verse is going to be the portals that Doctor Strange is able to open. He is able to know and access other dimensions, as we found out in previous films. He will most likely use an Avengers Endgame style portals to open up several, and Spider-Man will come swinging through to some capacity. That's what makes the most sense to me. However, they can probably also have some other gigantic interdimensional being or character who will bring these other characters in, which would also open up the door for other future MCU properties like Fantastic Four or the X-Men to be able to have access to the world that we know it in the MCU. So there could be a couple of different possibilities, but the way that the portals would work and Doctor Strange's knowledge of all other universes is probably the most likely in how these Spider-Man are going to come into the MCU. But that to me doesn't necessarily explain why the villains are here. There has to be some type of villain, bigger villain, who's going to be connecting Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2 and Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and somehow bringing them into this universe. Then I believe somehow Doctor Strange is going to recognize that these people are from other universes, then have to bring in each sort of specialist Spider-Man into our current universe in order to fight them alongside Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So who would this bigger villain be? And I feel like the best answer for that is either going to be Mysterio, or as the MCU likes to connect everything, someone related to Iron Man that has some kind of interdimensional access. It's probably some kind of deal with the Chitauri or like the Infinity Stones to some capacity. There's no guarantee on that, but based on how things have moved thus far in the MCU, that's probably most likely what's going to happen. Or what they could possibly introduce in order to get these Spider-Man into our world is something that's going to be happening in WandaVision in order for her to have access to be able to cause some sort of disruption, as we do know that she's going to be working with Doctor Strange in their sequel, The Multiverse of Madness, so we kind of already know the multiverse will be existing. Now how that's going to interplay into Spider-Man, we've yet to find out, but most likely she may have a hand in it. I wouldn't put all of my eggs in that basket. And then there's Charlie Cox, who is probably the biggest outlier, and how are we going to get him to help? Well, the answer was actually pretty much in Spider-Man 2 Far From Home the entire time. Again, big spoiler here, but because of the end of that movie in which Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, essentially reveals the identity of Spider-Man and Peter Parker to Times Square in New York, I think the best way that they're going to handle this is that Matt Murdock is going to have to be the person who gets Tom Holland's Spider-Man out of trouble. And again, they have set up perfectly here how we're going to get the heat off of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. The way they're going to do that is likely have him be on trial as Spider-Man in person as Peter Parker. Then what will likely happen is by having these other Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, have access to our current world through Doctor Strange, somehow swing in or be in another place while Peter Parker is on trial, thus proving that Spider-Man is in one place, Peter Parker is in another, thus they can't be the same person. That will be the easiest way for them to get all of this attention off of Peter Parker, but still allow him to be Spider-Man again, which is definitely what Marvel wants because they want Tom Holland to be their Spider-Man for the future. The only way they can do that is to make sure that he and Spider-Man are two totally different people. And last but not least, we have to talk about the title. Now, every single Spider-Man in the MCU has had a home-related title. Homecoming, Far From Home. Most likely they will include this theme into the third one. Now, there's a lot of speculation as what it could be. I'm probably feeling more Spider-Man Back Home or something like that because he was far from home in the last one, or going back home in terms of bringing Peter back home to New York. We're talking about taking all the Spider-Man that are now in our world and getting them back home. So I think that may be what's working out here in terms of possible titles, but only time will tell. But those are all of my rumors, thoughts, theories as to what can be happening. Let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think is going to be the title of the Spider-Man movie? What do you think might even happen in terms of the story? Let me know all in the comment section down below. While you're down there, make sure to hit the thumbs up if you like this video, as well as subscribe to the AAC channel. Also, if you happen to want to check me out in my channel, I am Aaron Waller, youtube.com/Aaron Waller over on my channel. Come hang out, get nerdy with me over there. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next one.